to keep my lip tight shut for 3 years, 3.5 years there at Santa Barbara, because I saw the whole industry as completely a mess, basically. My own professors are seeing like 3 people a day, 5 maybe, or 8 if they were lucky. And if they were seeing 10 a day, it was like they were, magnificently successful. I knew there was something fundamentally wrong. Not with them personally. I mean, they're wonderful people. It's just that the whole concept was wrong. And I saw clearly inside these people's head, they had a real problem about money. They had a problem with the money issue. And I don't know where it came from exactly. It seems that the bigger your heart, the bigger the problem with the money. It seems to be inversely related. And, or somehow making money is wrong, or charging for your services is somehow wrong. And I really had to keep my mouth shut, because who's going to listen to me anyway? I'm a student. And so I managed to get my way through school without pissing off too many people, and received my degree, and we decided to move to Seattle because I had purchased a home on an island called Bainbridge Island for my mother and father in 1985, where they retired from Alaska. And we tied a big ribbon around it, and because we lived in a log, I grew up in a log cabin. My first car I ever had was when I was 35 years old. And of course, monks, don't make much money. And so I purchased a home for my family on that island in '85, and then my mother was showing signs of dementia, pretty bad. We saw that it's not good. So we knew we had to leave paradise, i.e. Santa Barbara, with 80 starving acupuncturists in a population of, 270,000 people in that county. And we went up to a little town. We went up to Bainbridge Island, basically, and the little town next to Bainbridge Island is called Poulsbo. Population 7,000. And since I knew I had to take care of my mother and father, we decided, let's open a clinic, my wife and I, in Poulsbo. And when I went to Chinese medical school, I drugged my wife with me because I didn't want to go by myself. So she did. It was an act of love because she's really a school teacher by heart. And so we opened this clinic in Poulsbo. And because my wife's so beautiful, people came, actually. The joke is I always hope the wind would blow hard enough to accidentally blow somebody through the front door. And people came. And we had a few things which I'll tell you what we did, because I had 10 patients on the first day, and there's a way of doing that, and I'll tell you how to do it. And even if you have a practice, you can still do it. It works. The practice grew, and it grew thanks to a very important event in my Chinese medical career, and that is I met Dr. Richard Tan. And he was very, very gracious with me. I flew out to Wisconsin to meet him, and he taught me some rudimentary things about how to treat, because it was obvious to me that what I learned in school, I don't know about you folks, but what I learned in school did not work very well for pain relief. I personally could not get TCM acupuncture to work very well. I guess I just wasn't smart enough, but I just couldn't get it. Yes, it worked, but it would be sort of like, I call it the prayer method. You stick the needles in, and then you pray that it will work. And after I met Richard Tan, that was in 1998, I believe, I began to practice his method, the balance method. And the efficacy of our treatments improved dramatically. So much, in fact, it was very easy to look the person in the eye and say, yeah, we'll probably get rid of your problem. Because I would say the efficacy in the clinic from then on was in the high 80% range, maybe even in the 90s, in terms of getting rid of pain. And so naturally the practice grew on the basis of producing such great results. And that's all I felt I ever needed. And so it grew to about 25 people a day, maybe 30 a day, about 150 people a week. And then it just stagnated like that for several years. It never really got bigger. And my goal in getting into this medicine was to try to help as many people as I could. And I had a capacity to see more people. The balanced method really allows you to treat people very rapidly with very effective results so you can see lots of people. You're not stuck in the room for an hour. So that's when I met another gentleman which had a huge impact in my career in Chinese medicine. That's Dr. David Singer, who's a chiropractor, who runs a consulting firm in the United States, mostly for chiropractors, but now for acupuncturists as well. I met David Singer, became a good friend of his, and he basically straightened me out about how to help a lot of people. And I'm going to explain his methods to you today with his permission. And by the way, I should tell you that everything I talk about today with you, I have received direct permission from the people who have taught me. For me, this is very, very important because I just don't believe it's right to learn something beautiful from someone and somehow make it your own. I really wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for three gentlemen, Richard Tan, David Singer, and the third gentleman, which had a gigantic impact on my career, Zhang Weiyan from Taiwan, who now lives in Los Angeles, who everyone affectionately calls Jimmy Chang, who actually will be here tomorrow. And Jimmy taught me really, I think, just beautifully how to read pulses. I had studied with